Hello CMA final students. So welcome to this marathon of SCM subject for a December 25 attempt. We are going to kick off with theory of games from quantitative technique topics. This is the first one, and this question is must in every question paper going by the past 4 attempts. This particular chapter is expected to be covered for 7 marks. Even in MCQ also you can expect one question. So the coverage for this particular chapter is expected marks is 9 marks. Expected marks. This theory of game was originated by von Neumann. He is an Hungarian mathematician. In 1920s, he originated with this theory. He came up with this theory. He is a mathematician, and they, that is Neumann and then Morgenson, who is an economist. In 1940, they both are colleagues in Princeton University. They both in 1940 came together and written a book called as The Game Theory and Behavior of Economics. So in that book, they've clearly mentioned how this theory of game is useful for the real world, that is in the practical scenarios, by writing in the book called as The Theory of Games and Economic Behavior. For this, they received even Nobel Prize also. As of now, almost 12 people have got Nobel Prizes on writing a thesis for this theory of games. So 12 people have got so far Oscars on this. Sorry, it is not Oscar, it is because recently it has become so popular that I got that. So they've got the Nobel Prize for this theory, and of late the latest person to get this Nobel Prize is John Nash. You might have heard his name in economics. So he continued this theory of game in this era, and now his proposition, his theory is more popular now. It is more widely used in the industry also. So this is the background of theory of game. So that means this particular tool, mathematical tool, this is practical tool which is being now currently used in the industries also. Right. First, let us understand what exactly is theory of game and what is a game. Okay. What is theory of game? The theory of games or game theory, famously known as, or competitive strategies. Theory of competitive strategies also we can say, because ultimately it is the strategy only, a selection of a strategy, is a mathematical theory that deals with general features of competitive situations. General features of competitive situations. So what we should understand from this line is, it is a mathematical model. It is applied mathematical model that deals with general features of competitive situations. What is the meaning of competitive situations? Where two people are fighting for probably a market share or for revenue, or in a chess two people are trying to win the game, or you can think of auction, negotiations. So all these are the classical situations where you can apply this theory of game. This theory is helpful when two or more individuals or organizations with conflicting objectives try to make decisions. So when exactly theory of games is applicable is whenever two parties with conflicting objectives trying to take decisions. In that case, theory of games is applicable. Example, say there are two advertising agencies fighting, for a particular segment. Two advertising agencies. So both are competitors now. So now they are trying to get the clients with their strategies. Now, if one person get a client, obviously the other person is going to lose. One example I am quoting here. Similarly, if you take manufacturing companies, if one particular company try to play with price, if they reduce the price, it is going to impact his competitor, isn't it? So one person's gain is other person's loss. That is called as competitive situation. That is what competition is, right? So in those scenarios only game theory can be applied. That is what is the first point you should remember in case of theory of game. So theory of game can be applied only for competitive situations, and players should have conflicting objectives. Then only you can apply this theory of game. In such situations, a decision made by one decision maker affects the decision made by one or more of the remaining decision makers, and the final outcome depends upon the decision of all parties. Such situations often arise in the field of business, industry, economics, sociology, and military training also. So here the decision made by one particular player in this game will affect the other player who is playing the game. That is all about theory of game. And overall, when they try to arrive at the optimum decision, okay, that should be a fair one for both the people. That should be a fair one for both the people here. This theory applicable to a wide variety of situations. So these are the practical situations where you can apply this game theory. Two players struggling to win at chess, candidates fighting an election, two enemies planning war tactics. So, in a war, each player is trying to what? Win. Right. So if one person wins, obviously the other person is going to what? Lose. Firms struggling to maintain their market share, launching advertisement campaign by companies marketing a competitive product. So these are the classic scenarios or the situations where you can apply this game theory tool. The theory of game is based on minimax principle, which implies that each competitor will act so as to minimize his maximum loss or maximize his minimum gain. So this is very, very important, this particular line, because these are the rules based on which the game is played. So that is the reason I am asking you to concentrate here. The theory of game is based on minimax principle. What is minimax principle is each competitor will act so as to minimize his maximum losses or maximize his minimum gain or achieve best out of worst. So this is the rule. See, if you are a player who wants to maximize your profit, say let us take one scenario here. Firms struggling to maintain their market share. Now there are two firms, they are struggling to maintain their market share. So now they want to come up with strategies. Let's say reduction of price. So if one competitor reduce the price, the other competitor, what he is going to do? He will also definitely take some action. So that as a player you need to anticipate what other player is going to do. So he might either remain constant, or he might also reduce the price, or he might increase the price also. So anything is possible. Of course, increase is an abnormal situation. but he can also do the same thing, or he might remain constant also. So in this scenario, what is the best outcome possible for a player is, now if you are trying to increase the market share, so that is called as maximization. So what is your objective is to increase the market share. So what is the rule you should apply is maximization of market share. And if you are getting that highest market share, say for example 50% is the market share you are getting, that means the other player is going to lose that 50% market share. Yes, so one person's win is other person's loss. So far only simple competitive problems have been analyzed by this mathematical theory. So the syllabus whatever we have in our CMA final syllabus is proposed by both Morgenstern, economist, and Newman. But now of late John Nash has proposed some more extra rules with regard to theory of game to suit to the latest environment. So that is not made applicable to your syllabus. We are still reading whatever is proposed by these two guys. So that only we are applying now. So when they came up with this theory, it was applicable only for some practical scenarios, not for all the scenarios. This theory does not describe how a game should be played. It described only procedure and principles by which play should be selected. So theory of games does not tell you how to play a game. It will just give you the principles, the rules based on which you need to play the game. So this is all about the background of theory of games. Now let us understand this practically, right? Now whenever you want to do a game theory problem, first of all you need to understand the definitions of this topic. If you have clear-cut understanding of the definitions, then you can understand the question also. The first definition in this game theory is what is game. So if you understand this, half of the problem is over. What exactly is a game? Game is basically an activity between two or more persons involving actions by each one of them according to set of rules which results in some gain, either positive, it can be a gain, or even it can be a loss also for each person. So try to understand here the definition of game. So it is an activity between two or more persons. So that means minimum two persons are involved in this game. Two persons game it is basically. Two persons game it is. And it is a game of throwing punch at each other. Basically, that is each one is trying to win over the other. So naturally in this one person's gain is going to be the loss of other person. So we are only covering such kind of scenario. So remember this point. So in this game, one person, if he loses, other person is going to gain. If other person gains, this person is going to lose. So that is the applicability of game theory. So how one will come up with a right strategy in this scenario is all about game theory, right? So the game can give you either a positive gain or a negative gain also. The people who are participating in this, it can be an individual or even a firm also. Each participant, or we can call them as competitors also. They're basically competitors, whoever is participating in this game. Playing a game is called a player. So they are called as players. Each player is equally intelligent and rational in approach. So this theory has got some assumptions. One of the assumption is each player is intelligent and he is rational in approach. Rational means he is selfish, especially when it comes to decision making. That means he only wants gain. So that is called as rational in approach. So these two words are very important, game and player. And strategy is nothing but The rules, basically what is strategy is, it is a rule by which player decides his courses of actions from his list of course of actions during the game. So earlier I was giving an example that if you want to get a market share, two players are competing for market share. Now they have got different strategies or actions to grab the market share. So out of those strategies, how they pick up those strategies with predetermined rules, that is only called as strategy. So there are two types of strategies. One is pure strategy, other one is mixed strategy. According to your material, the games are of two types basically. That is what you should understand. Two types of games. One is pure strategy game, other one is mixed strategy game. So I will put it in another way also. I mean, I will use simple word also for this pure strategy when I give the example, when I solve that. So basically in game theory, you will have two types of games. One is pure strategy game, other one is mixed strategy game. Right. The next thing is payoff. What is payoff is, the outcome of the game is only called as payoff. So when you play the game, naturally an outcome will come. So that outcome is only called as payoff. The reward, what you can call it as. It can be a gain or even loss also. And when you prepare a matrix with a list of outcomes in each scenario, in each different possible scenarios, you call that as payoff matrix. You call that as payoff matrix. So in game theory problems, you will find matrix, in your question. So that matrix consists of the payoffs of each player. And one more thing is, this matrix will be there, the matrix will be prepared from both the players' point of view. Their payoffs will not be same, no. That is the reason you have different matrix for both the players. So what is this payoff matrix? It is a table showing the amounts received by the player named at the left hand side after all possible plays of the game. The payment is made by a player named at the top of the table. So here there are two players, player A and player B. This 1, 2, 3 represents the strategies of player A. Here also 1, 2, 3 to up to n represents the various strategies of player B. The matrix whatever I have given here represents A's payoff matrix. So if player B select his strategy 1, is alternate course of action 1, and player also selects 1, what is the outcome here we have to write in this cell. Similarly, if player A select this course of action, first course of action, and if player B selects second course of action, then what is the payoff from A's point of view we are writing. So this is how you should interpret the cells. That is what I have written here clearly. Let player A have m courses of actions, 1, 2, 3 till m, and player B have n courses of actions, 1, 2, 3 so on up to n. Then the game can be described by a matrix which can be constructed as described below. So how you should construct a matrix? This is very important when you are doing game theory problems. Construction of the matrix. So row designations for each matrix are the courses of actions available to player A. So here row wise 1, 2, 3 up to m, these are the courses of actions available to player A. These are the different options or choices available to player A. Similarly, this column wise whatever you have, that represents the options available to player B. Column designations for each matrix are the courses of action available to player B. So this is how you should construct the payoff matrix. The cell entries are the payments to A. Since I have given this matrix from A's point of view, these all are payments to A by player B. The cell entries are the payments to A. The cell entry Aij, this one Aij. I is row, J is column. So that represent what Aij. is the payment to A in A's payoff matrix when A chooses the course of action I and B chooses the course of action J. So when A chooses this first choice and B also selects the first choice, then what is the payment made by player B to player A? That is what you should write in the matrix. In a two-person zero-sum game, the cell entries in B's payoff matrix will be negative of the corresponding cell entries in A's payoff matrix. Now, when you prepare the same matrix from B's point of view, then you will have negative entries because B is making the payment to A now. That is the reason that is an outflow for player B. So his payoff matrix will be different and it will consist of negative figures. So in this, A is called as maximizing player, as he would try to maximize the gain, which is called, and while B is called minimizing player, he would try to minimize his losses. So in a game of theory, you will have two players. We can call one player as maximizing player, the other one will be minimizing player. I mean, business context we are talking about because our syllabus, majority of the questions will be on that only. So we will have two players. One player will be trying to maximize either his profit, market share, whereas other player is trying to minimize that loss. Right? Now let us take one practical scenario here with respect to launching of advertisement. One scenario I have given earlier, that is launching advertisement campaign by companies marketing competitive products. So there are two companies, both of them have launched the same product only. Okay, now to get major market share now they have to go for advertisement. So what is their dilemma is here, whether they should do not advertise or they should go for medium advertisement or they should go for huge advertisement. So these are the choices available for firm A. Similarly for firm B also he has the same choices. Either he can go for no advertisement, medium advertisement or huge advertisement. And the figures represent in this matrix are called as the set payments made by firm B to firm A in different combinations here. Now if firm A does not advertise, even if firm B also does not advertise, then what is the gain to firm A? That is what this figure represents, this cell entry represents. So this can be a market share. Let us assume that this is a market share, 10% is a market share. Now similarly, if firm B chooses medium advertisement and firm A chooses no advertisement, then what will be the market share is 5% for firm A. If firm A chooses no advertisement, firm B chooses huge advertisement, then firm A will lose 2% market share because negative is there now. Yes. So similarly, you can see the following choices here. If firm B selects medium advertisement and if firm B selects no advertisement, then market share of firm A will be 16%. So this is firm A's payoff matrix what we have given here. Right? Now this is a perfect example for understanding how a payoff matrix is constructed. Not only that, where exactly game theory is suitable also you might have understood. So it is applicable only for competitive situations. Competition means what? One person's gain is other person's loss. Exactly. So that is a perfect scenario for applying theory of games. So in theory of games, first thing is knowing who is a maximizing player, who is a minimizing player here. So that we can understand through the case scenarios given in the question. Now for example, now you try to tell me in this case, wage negotiations are going between employer and union, wage negotiations. between employer and union. So in these two persons, who is a maximizing player, who is a minimizing player, can you guess? Here, employer will try to cut down the hike, whereas union will try to increase the percentage. So who is a maximizing player here? Who wants to maximize here? Union is a maximizing player because they try to maximize the salaries of the employees, whereas employer will try to minimize the wages payable to, or the hike payable to the employee. So employer is the minimizing player and union is the maximizing player. So this identification of player is very, very important. Now sometimes in the question they don't mention who is the minimizing player, who is the maximizing player. So in that case, what you do is row wise player, whoever is there. So row wise, who is the player? Firm A. So assume that firm A only as the maximizing player. In case if they don't give you who is the minimizing player and who is the maximizing player. So this is all about, construction of payoff matrix, interpretation of the payoff matrix, and who is maximizing player, who is minimizing player. Now to play the game, there are certain rules. Now maximizing player obviously will try to maximize his gain. It could be in terms of profits or it could be in terms of market share. Yes, whereas minimizing player, naturally he will try to minimize his losses, right? So we need to apply those rules and play the game, then arrive at the optimal strategy for both the players. So what is optimal strategy? Definitions, if you see what is optimal strategy, the strategy that puts the player in most preferred position irrespective of the strategy of his opponents is called an optimal strategy. The strategy that puts the player in most preferred position irrespective of the strategy of his opponents is called an optimal strategy. So whatever the other player is going to select, the choice, irrespective of what he select, what is the most preferable thing for me, if I can come up with that particular strategy, that is only called as an optimal strategy. That means what? In a way, if you have to say minimum gain, what I am going to get out of my choices, irrespective of what my player is going to do, that is what is called as optimum strategy. Remember this point. Irrespective of what other player does, his counter actions, whatever might be these counter actions, but what is that minimum gain I am going to get irrespective of what he does, that is only called as an optimal strategy, whether it is a maximizing player or minimizing player, right? So I hope you understood the theory part, but you will get that satisfaction level only when I explain practically. I mean, practically means with a problem, definitely you can understand it. That gap will be filled. So now taking the same example here, now everyone might have understood this matrix, launching an advertisement campaign here, this one. Let's continue with this example only here. Now here firm A we are calling as a maximizing player, firm B we are calling as a minimizing player. Minimizing player from this matrix point of view, okay, right? Because one person's gain, if I am preparing from my point of view, right, then I will try to gain. That means other person is going to what? Lose. So that is what the point is here. Firm A is maximizing player, firm B is minimizing player. Both of them know each other's reaction. Now the thing is, in game theory, now there are three possibilities. No, yes, these are the three possibilities what firm A is anticipating from firm B. Right, now I am firm A. Now based on my choice, if I select one particular course of action here, then what my player is going to do, that is what I am thinking here. Three possibilities I have taken. So that I am able to determine That is important for game theory. That is what written here. Both of them know each other's reaction. They will play conservative. That is one more thing. Playing conservative means what? They want least gains. They don't expect highest things. They want least gains only. Now, what is the rule and what is the principle for maximizing player when you are playing this theory of game is maxi mini principle. What is this maxi mini principle is? Maximizing minimum gains. As I told you earlier, irrespective of what other player does, what is that minimum thing I am going to get? Right, that is what I want. That is the optimum strategy I want. So what is the principle maximizing player should follow is maxi-min. That is maximizing the minimum income. Maximizing the minimum income. This is the principle he should follow. And what is the rule minimizing player should follow is mini-max. That is minimizing his maximum losses, because he knows now that, not he, when firm A selects one strategy and if it is giving gain, so obviously for B it is a loss. So out of the losses, right, out of all the maximum losses, he will try to incur what? Minimum loss. So it is a perfect balance for both, right? So this is called as mini-max principle or minimum. Now, how to play this game now? See. Now I have written here these strategies. Now how many strategies we have taken? 3 strategies: no advertisement, medium advertisement, huge advertisement. So let us call those strategies as A1, A2, A3. A1, A2, A3. Okay. And B strategies as B1, B2, B3. And I have taken all the cell entries also here. Alright. Now for a maximizing player, what is the principle we should apply is maxi-min. That is maximizing the minimum gains. So what you do is, for every course of action, every choice, what is the minimum gain or minimum market share firm A is going to get, that is maximized player is going to get. So if he chooses A1 and if player B chooses either B1, B2 or B3, out of these 3, what is a minimum thing he is going to get is -2 here in this case. If he selects A2, then what is the minimum market share? 10%. If he selects A3, then 2%. So now out of this, maximum you should select. This is called as maxi-mini. Okay, because profit he will try to maximize. Now other player, first you should select now B. If he selects B1 strategy, then out of the three strategies of player A, what is the maximum loss he will get? Because he is conservative, no, 18. If he selects B2, out of these 3, what is the maximum? 14. If he selects B3, then out of these 3, what is the maximum? 10. So now out of this, what is the minimum? 10. Now you can arrive at the preferred strategies for both the players. Now firm A, what is the preferred strategy? A2. For firm B, what is the preferred strategy? B3. And what is the payoff they got? Firm A got 10. What about firm B? -10. Why -10 is, these represents from player B point of view, these represents payments or not? Yes. So that is the reason it is negative for him. Losses, no, we are trying to minimize the losses, so loss means negative only here. So this is an optimum strategy because the value of the game is 0 here. It is a preferred strategy for both firm A as well as firm B. It is only called as pure strategy. So whenever the sum of the game is 0, we call this as zero-sum games. Whenever the value of the game is 0, we call it as pure strategy. So we can call them as zero-sum game, right? And We can also say that saddle point exists. Whenever minimax is equal to, remember this, whenever minimax value is equal to maximin value, we say that saddle point exists. We say that saddle point exists. I hope you understood pure strategy, that is zero sum games. I hope you understood. So I told you that there are two types of problems, no? One is pure strategy problem, that is zero sum game problems. Other one is non-zero sum game also. Yes, we do have non-zero sum games also. Every time you might not get zero. Other one is mixed strategy, what we call it as, or non-zero sum games. So in game theory, first of all, there are two types of problems. One is zero sum game, other one is non-zero sum game. So how to play this zero sum game or pure strategy is, there should be two players. Out of that, one player should be maximizing player, the other one should be minimizing player, and you should have payoff matrix from maximizing player point of view, or either point of view you should have a minimizing player or maximizing player, you should have a matrix. Constructing matrix is very, very important. Then depending on whether he is a maximizing player or minimizing player, you should apply the rule. What is the rule? Maximizing player should apply maximini rule, whereas minimizing player should apply minimax rule. That is what I have applied here in this example. And if minimax value is equal to maximini value, then we say that it is a pure strategy. The value of the game is 0 there. It is also called as zero sum game. So that means we have achieved an optimal strategy. When the value of the game is equal to 0, right, what that indicates in game theory is we have achieved a optimum strategy. So problem is very, very simple, especially pure strategy here. Now let us take one example also from this. So zero sum game is where value of the game is equal to 0, win of one is equal to loss of other, and non-zero sum game is where the gain of one person is not equal to loss of other person. That is called as non-zero sum game. We can also call them as mixed strategies. Zero sum games we can call them as pure strategies. Right. Now I will tell you why they have given this name pure strategy. Why they have given this name pure strategy is, in the definition we can clearly understand what is pure strategy. Yes, see. As per this strategy, a player knows exactly what other player is going to do. That is the reason we are calling it as pure strategy. You are able to exactly know what other player. Now in the example of advertisement, we know that there are only three possibilities for the other player, either no advertisement, medium advertisement, or huge advertisement. So this is what exactly I am able to come up with. In which case that assumption is pure strategy. As per this strategy, a player knows exactly what other player is going to do. It is a deterministic situation. It is called as deterministic situation. The objective is to maximize gain. So in case of pure strategies, what is the objective? Objective is to maximize the gain. So this is the point you should remember. So in case of pure strategy games, the player knows exactly what other player is going to do. That is a deterministic situation. So those are the scenarios only we are taking. When we constructed this payoff matrix here, these are three different courses of actions, what exactly we know he is going to do. Right, that is only called as pure. That is the reason pure strategy name is given. Right, but when you don't know exactly which strategy other player is going to select, then we call it as mixed strategy. If a player is guessing what other player is going to do, it is a probabilistic situation. So what we will do in that case is, we assume that every strategy is used in some proportion. All three strategies are applied in some proportion. That is the assumption what we take there. So that is what a mixed strategy is here. If a player is guessing what other player is going to do, it is a probabilistic situation. The objective is to maximize expected gain. Right? What that is, that also we'll try to understand. So mixed strategy I will cover. First we will concentrate on pure strategy. So pure strategy, I hope everyone understood. So whenever pure strategy game, whenever you are doing a pure strategy game, what is very important is what are the steps. First, you should know who is a maximizing player, who is a minimizing player. For maximizing player, what is the rule you should apply? Maxi-mini rule. For minimizing player, you should apply maxi-mini, mini-max rule. And if these two values are same, we say that it is a zero-sum game. That means we have achieved the optimal strategies. So whenever value of the game is equal to 0, then that is the optimum situation for us. So these are the steps. So in your notebook, what you can do is, you can write these steps now. So game theory, mathematical tool used in competitive scenarios. Used in competitive scenarios, where what is competitive scenario is where gain of one person is equal to loss of other. Right? So I gave you examples of scenarios also. What are the examples of scenarios? Auctions you can take, negotiations between employer employee, then pricing strategies, market share, market competition. Those are the perfect scenarios for applying this game theory. Even two candidates who are fighting the election also, they can apply this game theory. Even in war planning also we can guess what other players are going to, what other country is going to do. Right? So game theory can be applied in variety of situations. Now, types of games. There are two types of games. Two types of zero-sum game . Zero-sum game . A zero-sum game. Other one is non-zero-sum game. Zero-sum game. Other one is non-zero sum game. Zero sum is also called as pure strategy. It is also called as pure strategy. Non-zero sum game we call it as mixed strategies. Zero sum game we call it as pure strategy. Non-zero sum games we call it as, these are the two types of problems you will have. Right. These are the two types of game. Now, each game has two players here. Next thing is, every game is played by two individuals or firms. Out of this, one will be, out of which you have one maximizing player, other one minimizing player. Every game is played by two individuals or firms, out of which one is maximizing player, other one is minimizing player. Right? Now, what are the rules to be applied by these players is, rules to be applied by the players. Rules to be applied by the players is, maximizing player you need to identify based on the scenario given in the question who is a maximizing player. What is the rule you should apply is maxi min, that is maximizing the minimum gain. The meaning of this is maximizing a minimum. So you might be wondering, sir, why he is not trying to maximize, why he is taking minimum? Is we should also take into consideration other person's choices or strategies also, no? So what is ideal I need to arrive at? So here we need to be conservative. That means I am expecting the least thing out of this strategy, so that it will become what? An optimal strategy. That means no matter whatever he does tomorrow, this is going to happen. Okay, so just apply your brain here. You should not take maximum. Instead, you should try to be conservative. Why you should be conservative is because tomorrow his strategy might give him more gain also. Who knows? Alright, so what I am expecting is, we should expect the least thing out of my strategy here. So this is called as conservative approach. That is what those people, that is Newman and Morgenstern have suggested in this game theory. Maximizing minimum gain. This is a rule you should apply. So first, from every row you should select the minimum values, and then out of that you should select the maximum one. Then generally who will be taken as maximizing player is, in the absence of information, row wise player only Row wise player, generally you take it as a maximizing player. Then the other player is minimizing player. Minimizing player. What is the rule you should apply is minimax. So first you should get for each of his strategy what is the maximum loss he will get, then out of that minimum he would like to incur losses. This is minimax. Column wise player. So when we say that we have achieved an optimum strategy, whenever the value of the game is equal to 0, we say that we have arrived at optimum strategies for both the players. How to know that? Next thing is how to know that we have achieved optimum strategies. According to this game theory rules, how do we know that we have achieved the optimum strategies? We have achieved optimum strategies when value of the game is equal to 0, then we can understand that we have achieved the optimum strategy. When value of game is equal to 0, then we can come to a conclusion that we have achieved the optimum strategies for both the players. Right? Even in mixed strategy also, now when that doesn't happen, then we should apply which one? Mixed strategy. Then we should apply mixed strategy there. Right, this is for purely zero sum games I am talking about. In case of this is pure strategies. In fact, both the cases we can take. Even in mixed strategy also, value of the game is equal to 0. For both pure as well as mixed strategies. Pure and mixed. In both the cases when value of the game is equal to 0, that is when we know that we have achieved the optimum strategy. Yes. Now, when you are doing problems, always try to present the payoff matrix from maximizing player point of view. In exam, always in exam, payoff, what is payoff matrix also you should know. To play the game, we need to list out all the, next thing is to play the game, we need to list out all the, what do you call the outcomes of each possible scenario. That is only called as payoff matrix. So, what is payoff matrix? That also you should know. Payoff matrix. What is this payoff matrix is? It is a matrix showing the outcomes of each possible scenario of each player. It is a table showing various possible outcomes, of each player when he selects a particular course of action So when he chooses a particular course of action, and based on what is the other player is going to do, what is the outcome you are going to get, if you prepare for all the possibilities, that is only called as payoff matrix. So let us do a problem now, institute material problem on this. Now the next question is, sir, what if value is not equal to 0? When value is not equal to 0, let us try to understand that also. Now when value is not equal to 0, what we need to do? What we need to do is, we need to apply rule of dominance. So what is the next thing we need to do is, second thing is, pure strategy with rule of dominance. What is this pure strategy with rule of dominance is? Now you have three strategies, A1, A2, A3. We are talking of row wise. What we will do is, we'll try to eliminate strategies here. I mean unfavorable strategies, worse strategies which are inferior than other strategies, we have to eliminate. This is called as rule of dominance. How to eliminate that is, now if it is row wise, how to eliminate is, we know that row wise is a maximizing player. Here. So when the value of your strategy here, A1, when the value of A1 is greater than the value of A2, lesser than the value of A2 or A3, then that means definitely it is inferior than A2 and A3. When A1 values, the payments whatever you are going to receive in A1 strategy are lower than A2 and A3, then obviously it is not considerable in your game now. So that is how you can eliminate A1. So each and every value must be greater than what? A2. That is a condition. So what is the condition applicable whenever you want to apply this rule of dominance is, this is the rule. Reduce game by dominance. It helps to reduce the size of payoff matrix. Preferred matrix order is 2 by 2. If no pure strategy exists, the next step is to eliminate strategies, that is rows or columns, by dominance rule. So rows and columns of the payoff matrix that are inferior to, or at least one of the remaining rows or columns, are deleted from further consideration. So if it is inferior to at least another row, then you can eliminate that. So understand this point here, what I have written. rows or columns of the payoff matrix that are inferior to at least one of the remaining rows or columns are deleted from the further consideration. When you should apply this rule? Only when value of the game is not equal to 0, then you should apply this rule of dominance to reduce the size of the matrix. Then again we'll apply the same rule only, minimax and maximini rule only. So if you want to delete now either rows strategies or column wise strategies, what is the consideration is, if they are inferior to other strategies, at least one other strategy, then we should eliminate that. So see this example here. Row wise, what is the condition for elimination is, row wise means maximizing player only, no? Now take two strategies here, A1 and A2. Here if you compare A1, each value is lower than other value, you can see here. So if row value is lower than other row value, then you can eliminate. So condition is what? If Ri is less than or equal to, or even if it is equal to also, then we can eliminate because both are same only, no? Then Ri is to be eliminated. So condition is when I represents the ith row, J represents the jth row here. Okay. So when row of I values are greater than or equal to row of J, then we can eliminate Ri. This is the condition for row elimination or maximizing player, we can say. Right. Similarly, for column wise elimination, column wise, since he is trying to minimize his losses, what is the condition for him is here? Column wise, you need to check. So here, whichever column value is greater than other columns. Now, say this is B1, B2. This column wise we have to check now for minimizing player. We should check for column values which are higher than what? Other strategy here. Now, if any values of column here, entries here are greater than other strategies, then we need to eliminate this column. So condition for this column wise is, if Ci, so ith column is greater than or equal to jth column here, eliminate Ci. What is the logic behind this is, here you are trying to minimize losses. So now if any strategy is giving you more loss than other strategy here, obviously it is not good for you. So that is the reason you are trying to eliminate that. Logic is we do not require higher loss strategies since you are a minimizing player. So this is the condition for eliminating column. I hope you understood. So if value of the game is not equal to 0, immediately the next thing what you need to do, apply rule of dominance, right? Then reduce the size of the matrix to 2 by 2. Then again apply what? Your minimax and maximini rule. See when whether value of the game is equal to 0 or not. So these are the points you need to remember in case of value of the game is not equal to 0. So step by step we have to do here. Rule of dominance. If immediately what you need to do, if value of game is not equal to 0, then apply rule of dominance. What is rule of dominance is elimination of rows and columns. Elimination of rows and columns to reduce the size of the matrix, reduce size of matrix Reduce size of matrix to 2 by 2. This is what you should do. So row elimination condition, what is the condition for row elimination? Row elimination condition, column elimination condition. Row elimination or column elimination condition is, row elimination condition is if Ri is less than or equal to Rj, other row lower than or equal to other than, eliminate Ri. Whereas column wise, what is the condition? If column I is greater than or equal to column j, then eliminate Ci. So by applying this row elimination and column elimination, reduce the size of the matrix, then apply. After elimination, then what we need to do is, after reducing matrix size to 2 by 2, again apply minimax and maxi mini rule. This is what you should do if value of the game is not equal to 0. So let us take here institute question here, one question. So these are institute questions given at the end. So here first question, let us see which type of question it is. Find the optimal strategies of the players for the game having payoff matrix. So they have given players here. So who are the players they have not given? Let's assume this is player A, this is player B strategies. A1, A2, A3 are player A strategies, and B1, B2, B3, B4 are player B strategies. Right? Now, what is the value of the game? That is the question. So first we should assume that it is a zero-sum game only, and accordingly we should solve the problem. So for this we will apply minimax and maximini rules. And one more thing is, we are assuming that player A is the maximizing player and player B is the minimizing player. So first take the minimum value out of each row. What is the minimum value out of this? 1, in this 4, in this 0, and out of this what is the maximum? 4. So this is your maxi minima min value. This is. Now coming to minimizing player, now using the same payoff matrix, he will try to, out of every strategy, he will try to minimize his losses. So first he will select what is the maximum he will get. What is the maximum loss he is going to get if player A selects A1, A2 or A3 is 7. Here also 7, here it is 4, here it is 5. Out of this, what is the minimum loss? 4. So here also we are taking the maximum loss for this what you call minimizing player. Out of that minimum loss we are considering. Now if you see, both are same. This is your minimax value. So since maximum value is equal to minimax, the value of the game is equal to what? 0. So what is the preferred strategy for player A? Player A preferred strategy is A2, and player B preferred strategy is B3. And what is the value of the game for player A? Player A value of the game is positive 4, player B minus 4, because that is a payment done to A, no? So value of the game is equal to 0. I hope everyone understood this. This is a pure strategy. So saddle point exists here. Yes, saddle point exists. Why saddle point exists? When do we say that saddle point exists? When minimax is equal to maxi mini, then we say that saddle point exists. This is a basic problem. Now see the second one. You can see final answer also for this. They have given optimal strategies are A2 and B3. Value of the game is 4. I mean, this from player point of view. Player A point of view, what is the value of the game for him is 4 rupees. Player B point of view, it is minus 4. So whenever they ask you value of the game, give it from a player point of view. So in this case, since it is equal to 0, we need not apply rule of dominance. Now with rule of dominance, we will cover one question. Question number 3. Reduce the following game by dominance rule and solve it. See, even though he is asking apply dominance rule here, but always we should check whether this problem can be solved with a pure strategy also. So let us check now by applying that minimax and maxi mini. Let us see that whether we are getting the value of the game 0 or not. So first row minimum value 1, second row minimum value 1, third row minimum value is 5, fourth row minimum value is 1. Out of this maximum is 5. Then minimizing player maximum out of every column 6, 5, 7, 7. Out of this minimum. What is the minimum out of this? 5. So again you are getting same. But however, since question specifically is asking you to apply the rule of dominance, we should apply rule of dominance. Okay. After applying rule of dominance also, answer will remain same. We will get value of the game 5 only. Let us check. Since question specifically asked you to apply this rule of dominance, we have to apply that only. So according to rule of dominance, how to eliminate the rows? If any row values are lower than or equal to, at least equal to other rows, then you can eliminate that row. Let us compare our first one and second one. 1 is less than 3, 3 is less than 4, 2 is, but 2 is not less than 1. So 1 and 2, no. What about 1 and 3? 1 is less than 6, 3 is less than 5, 2 is less than 7, 7 is less than 6, 4 is less than 5. Yes. Since R1 is greater than R3, which one we should eliminate? R1 we can eliminate. This one we can eliminate. No, we cannot, because 7 is greater than 6. No. All other figures are lower only, but 7 is greater than 6. Next, what about 2 and 3? 2 and 3 case, every value is lower than other figure. 3 is less than 6, 4 is less than 5, 1 is less than 7, 5 is less than 6, 6 is, no, 6 is again greater than 5. What about 4? 4 and 3. Yes, 4 is I think less than row 3 values. 2 is less than 6, 0 is less than 5, 6 is less than 7, 3 is less than 6, 1 is less than 5. Yes. So R4 here less than R3. So eliminate R3. So not R3, eliminate R4. This one you can eliminate. Alright. Next. Now that's it, row wise that is only possible. Now column wise we will check. Column wise condition is greater than no. So 3 is greater than 1, 4 is greater than, I am comparing these two. 3 is greater than 1, 4 is greater than 3, 5 no. Here no. Yes. Here R S is greater than or equal to RP. RS is greater than or equal to RP. So eliminate RS. RS you can eliminate. This one you can eliminate. Now you can compare again, row wise you can come back. Next. Now 1 and 2 both are lesser than what? 3. Oh sorry, T is also there here. We are forgetting about T here. T is also there. What about T? T is also greater than R? No, 5 is less than 7. RT is greater than or equal to? Yes, RT greater than or equal to RQ again. So eliminate RT. This also you can eliminate. Okay, next row wise you can check now. Now 1, 2 both are lesser than 3, but which one is worst one out of this is? First one is worst one, because at least second one 2 values are more no than this one. So R1 is now there is a competition between 1, 2 with 3. 3 is no doubt he is having higher value than 1 and 2. But what about 2? 2 is having higher value in 2 cases, 3, 4. Right. Only one value it is lower. So what you can do is, in this type of scenarios, what you can do is you can take the average also. Right. Here you can eliminate R1 because comparatively yes it is lower. Now compare row wise. Row wise if you see again now. RP is 1 is less than 3. No, not possible. Next. Next, we are left with 3, 6, 4, 5, 1, 7, isn't it? Now what happens sometimes when condition is not met, what you can do is you can use average condition also. Even that also is another point. Let's consider that condition also here. Rule of dominance average method. When this average method should be applied is row wise. First one we know, that is lower than or equal to. Average method, if Ri is less than or equal to average of 2 or more rows, then eliminate Ri. So whenever with this first condition, if you are unable to eliminate, then what you can do is then you can use this average method to eliminate. When Ri is less than or equal to average of remaining two or more, whatever it is, take the average of that. Similarly, column wise also you can apply that average when you are unable to eliminate with first one. So that rule you can apply here. What I will do here is 8, 10, 9, the same question I think I have solved. So what I will do is here, let us recheck this. Let us take these values in our so we are getting the value of the game as 5 here, but since they ask you to apply rule of dominance here, we are trying to apply that. First, if you apply column wise, just check column wise here, any column is greater than. So S is greater than Q. Absolutely it is dominating or not. Yes, S is greater than Q in every value. If you see 7 is greater than 3, 5 is greater than 3, 6 is greater than 5. So RS is greater than RQ. So we should eliminate this. Next, even RT also greater than RT is greater than or equal to R. Eliminate RS. RT is greater than or equal to R. RQ, sorry, RQ. RT is greater than or equal to RQ. Yes, so eliminate RT. This one is also eliminated. Next, row wise if you check, 4 is lower than 3. R3 is 4 is lower than 3. You can check here. So you can eliminate 4. 1 is lower than 3 again. 1 is lower than 3. 1 is lower than 3. Yes, we can eliminate this. Now check column wise again. Column wise, no clear cut domination, no. So 3 is 4 is greater than 3, but 5 is less than here. So in this case, what we can do is we can apply this average method. We can apply. So this one we will take. This we will compare. This R we will compare with these two. Average of these two we will compare. So 3 plus 4 divided by 2 is 3.5. 6 plus 5 divided by 2 is 5.5. You are getting 5.5 again. 7 is greater than 5.5 only, no. But 1 is less than 3.5. No. Let us take these two. P we will compare with the average of Q and R. Yes. Q and R, if I take average, 4 plus 1 divided by 2 is 2.5. 5 plus 7 divided by 2 is 12, 6, 2.5. 7 by 2 is 3.5. Earlier the condition was satisfied, no, greater than condition only. So now I will compare P with Q and R average. QR average is 4 plus 1 divided by 2, 2.5, 5 plus 5 plus 7 divided by 2 is 6. Yes. So now if you see, RP is greater than or equal to average of Q and R. Greater than or equal to average of Q and R. So you can eliminate what? This one. So finally you left with this matrix. What is that matrix? 4, 5, 1, 7. Right. Now if you apply this rule, let's take this as what is this one? Which row that is? We picked up second row. This is second row, third row, and here this is Q, this is R. Okay, first minimum value from every row 1, 5 out of this maximum, then maximum from every column 5, 7 out of this minimum. Yes, so we got same again. So therefore mini max is equal to maxi mini. Right, so what is the value of the game here? 5. So we got the answer now. Value of the game is 5. So that is the answer. So in rule of dominance, first you go by absolute dominance. If that is not possible, then what you can do is you can check with average of the remaining rows or columns when you are eliminating that. So you can find the answer here. So what is the optimal strategy? That also you should refer. Row wise player, what is the optimal we got? 3. Row wise, this is the optimum strategy. For column wise player, what is the optimum strategy? That is Q for him. So row wise 3, column wise Q. That is the answer. You can check with this answer, final answer. Optimal strategy for maximizing player is 3. For minimizing player is Q. So the value of the game is 5. So that is your rule of dominance. So this is your first section, you can assume. Now when you are applying this rule of dominance, first you should apply absolute condition, that is row wise how to eliminate. If any row values, all the values are lower than other rows values or at least equal also, then you can eliminate that row. Column wise greater than condition. If those conditions you are unable to apply, not possible, then you can take average. Take the average of the rows or columns remaining when you are comparing. Then you can reduce the size of the matrix to 2 by 2 and then again apply mini max and maxi mini rules. So that is the question. Now coming to mixed strategy, that is what we are left with now. In case of mixed strategy, how we should arrive at an optimum solution, that is what you should learn now. Let us take this question only and let us try to get, in case of this non-zero sum games, what they are going to do is, since they don't know with exactly, they are not able to determine what other person is going to do. So here we are going to do guesswork. So what we are going to do is, whatever strategies we have got, A1, A2, A3, every strategy I am going to use, but in a ratio. So I am going to, what we are going to do is, I am going to apply a probability for every choice and multiply with my values. Then whatever gain I get, that is only called as expected gain or expected loss. So this is what I try to maximize now. So in case of mixed strategy, what I will try to maximize? Expected gain. How do I get expected gain? So the probability of every strategy multiplied by their values. So now your doubt will be, sir, how do we get probabilities? How do we get probabilities? We have two methods, algebraic method, other one is odds method. One is odds method, the other one is algebraic method there. Algebraic method is not given in the institute material, but that also I will explain, very easy. And I will explain what is there in the institute material, how to calculate the probabilities using odd method. Tell me when we should apply odd method. Odd method we should apply whenever it is a mixed strategy. How do you know that it is a mixed strategy? When value of the game is not equal to 0, then you should realize that it is a mixed strategy. Then you may say that, sir, can we apply rule of dominance? Yes, you can apply rule of dominance and cut down the matrix size to 2 by 2. Check whether value of the game is equal to 0 or not. In spite of that also, if the value of the game is not equal to 0, then you apply this odds method. Right? I am writing here for your understanding purpose. Now, mixed strategies. When to apply when to realize that it is a mixed strategies? When to apply mixed strategy steps or rules, you can say. First, step number 1 is play it like a pure strategy first. Play it like a pure strategy. Right? So assuming that you are going to get the value of the game as 0, you play it. Right? Then step number 2. If value of the game is not equal to 0, then apply rule of dominance. Then apply rule of dominance to reduce the size of the matrix. Reduce size of matrix to 2 by 2. So I gave you the conditions how to eliminate row and column and bring it down to 2 by 2 matrix. Then again apply what? This pure strategy. Apply, then apply what? Minimax rule. Then apply then check for pure strategy. Then check for pure strategy again. Then check for pure strategy. Then check for pure strategy. So still if value of the game is not equal to 0, then you should apply mixed strategy steps. If value of game is not equal to 0, then apply mixed strategy steps or mixed strategy rules. This is what you should do. So what we will do in mixed strategy is every course, every strategy we will consider. That is the reason it is called as mixed. So what I am going to do is I will, since I don't know exactly what other strategy my other player is going to choose, so I will assume that he is going to select a particular course of action in a particular probability. So like this, all strategies I will multiply with probabilities. So whatever gain I am going to get, that I will try to maximize. This is your mixed strategy. So let us understand this. What is the mixed strategy rules? That also we will understand, and then we will move to the problem. Mixed strategy rules. See, being a new topic, I am covering this, literally exhaustively. I mean, literally, I am covering the entire concept here because there's a new topic added in 2022 syllabus. Right, rest of the topics we will strictly revise the topics rather than again covering the entire concept. So mixed strategy rules, what are the rules is, calculate probabilities or I will just show you my notes so that quickly I can so how to identify it is a mixed strategy, already I have written there. Play it like a pure strategy first. Assume that the value of the game is equal to 0. Apply mini-max rule, max-mini rule. If the value of the game is not equal to 0, then it is a what? Mixed strategy. That is what you should realize. If value of the game is not equal to 0, then it is a mixed strategy. Dominance method, when you should apply to reduce the size of the matrix to 2 by 2, you can apply this dominance method and check again for pure strategy. Now, if value of the game is not equal to 0, then odds method you should apply. Odds method is the rule for mixed strategy. It is used to solve 2 by 2 matrix. It is used to solve 2 by 2 type matrix. So once you reduce the size of the matrix to 2 by 2, I told you that again apply mini-max, maxi-mini rule. Still if the value of the game is not equal to 0, now you can apply this odds method. For mixed strategy, what we apply is odds method only we apply. Odds basically are used to calculate the probabilities. Okay. So under mixed strategy, a player opts for more than one strategy in a certain probability for its optimum strategy. What he's going to do is, for every row or column, they are going to calculate the probability of happening those strategies. Then expected values they are going to calculate out of that. So let us understand this, how to calculate the probabilities. First, in institute material, how to calculate these probabilities they have given you, that I will show you first. Let us take this matrix now. A1, A2, A1, A2 strategies for row player, B1, B2. These are the cell values. AI, A2, B1, B2. These are the values, assume now. Now, how to calculate the probability I am showing? Odds. First, you should take the odds. How to take the odds is, when you are taking row wise here, first row when you are taking, take the difference of second row entries here, B1 minus B2. Okay. B1 minus B2. And when you are taking the second row odds, take the first row difference, A1 minus A2. Okay, here when you get, even if you get minus values also, just take it as positive values only. When you are getting minus values, take it as positive values. So once again I am repeating here, how to take the odds here is, for A1 row, take A2 difference, A2 value difference, B1 minus B2. For A2, take A1 minus A2. This is a shortcut trick, right? And this shortcut trick is based on differentiation, partial differentiation formula. By applying that partial differentiation to our indifference concept, they have arrived at this odds. I will show you that also. So these are shortcut tricks here to calculate the probability here. So this is row wise. Now similarly column wise also opposite you should take again. For B1 column, the difference between B2 values, A2 minus B2. Similarly for B2, take B1 difference, A1 minus B1. So this is how you calculate the odds. Once you get the odds, then take the probability. How to get the probability of A1 is this value divided by sum of this plus this value. So how do you get probability of A1 strategy? What is the probability of A1? What is the probability of choosing A1 strategy is the odds of this row divided by sum of the odds. And how do you get probability of A2 is 1, because total probability is 1. 1 minus A1 probability you can take, or you can take A1 minus A2 divided by the sum of the odds. You can see here. A1 minus A2 sum of the odds. This is how you should calculate the probabilities of A1 and A2. Similarly for B1, how do you calculate the probability? A2 minus B2 divided by sum of the odds. So this is the formula you will find in your material also, institute material. This is how you should calculate the probabilities. Once you calculate the probabilities, then how do you get the value of the game is? This is how you get the value of the game. Value of game A is, basically these are expected values. So this A1 into probability of A1, then B1, because these are the player A's values. Now if provided player B selects this, then these are the values of player A. So A1 into probability of that is A1. B1 into probability of A2. If you multiply, then you will get the value of game for A. Or what is the other way to get for him is A2 into this probability, B2 into this probability. In that manner also you can calculate the value of game for A. You can see here A1 into probability of A1, B1 into probability of this happening. Or you can take even the second, what if B selects B2, then A selects A1, what is the probability of that? A1, A2 strategy probability is A2, B2 into A2. So that is what, this is how you can determine the value of game for A. Similarly for B also we can calculate value of the game. This is basically we call this as expected value. This only we will try to, earlier we were calling it as gain, now we are calling it as expected gain because we have multiplied with probability here. Similarly for B also, how I can get the value of the game is, now from B point of view, these are the values. No, if player A selects A1, then these are the values of player B, A1 and A2. So A1 into probability of B1, A2 into probability of B2. Add these two. Or what is the other way is B1 into probability of B1, B2 into probability of B2. This is how you get the value of game for player B. Right? And if you add both the players' value of the game, it must be equal to 0. It must be equal to 0. Right? Now, these are the steps. How to identify that it is a mixed strategy, you can write in your notebook also. This is how, these are the steps you should verify. First, play it like a pure strategy. Then, if you are not able to get 0, then apply rule of dominance, or you apply rule of dominance only. First of all, you apply rule of dominance whenever you have more than, if you do not find 2 by 2 matrix, then reduce it to 2 by 2. Then apply this pure strategy, minimax and maximini. So whenever value of the game is not equal to 0, take it as mixed strategy. Then apply this odds method. Odds are used to calculate the probability. Right? So mixed strategy means I am going to mix all the strategies in some probability, in some proportion. And whatever expected values I get, that I try to maximize. Now, let us take this question now. This question only. Solve the game they have given like this, 5, 3, 1, 4. 5, 3, 1, 4. I'm solving this. Five, 3, 1, 4. So mixed strategy rule is calculate probabilities of each row and column, and then what you should calculate? Next step is calculate value of game. How to calculate probabilities? By applying odds method for each player. Calculate value of game for each player. So how to calculate probabilities? Using odds method. We should find the probability. So let us take that institute material question now. Five, 1, 3, 4. 5, 1, 3, 4. So these are the values. Already it is at 5, 3, 1, 4. Yes. So let us apply step by step now. First I am solving it like a pure strategy. That is, I am assuming that the value of the game will be equal to 0. So first mini 1, 3, out of that maximum. Okay. Then max 5, 4, out of that minimum is 4. So value of the game is not equal to 0. Therefore it is a mixed strategy. We should arrive at this conclusion. So that means we should use the mix of strategies rather than selecting one particular strategy. That is what you should realize. Now what we should calculate? We should calculate probabilities now of each strategy. So A1, A2, concentrate, you can concentrate here. B1, B2. So 5, 3, 1, 4. So first we need to calculate the odds. So how do you get these odds? First, when I am taking A1 odds, take the difference between these two. 3 minus 4. 3 minus 4. If you get negative value, ignore it. 1. And when you are taking A2 row, take A1 rows cell entry difference. 5 minus 1. 4. So what is the total of these two? 5. Okay. Now similarly here also you can calculate odds for column wise. For B1 I should take B2 cell entries difference. So 1 minus 4. So minus 3, no, ignore minus symbol, 3. Next B2. For B2 we should take B1, 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3, that is equal to 2. So what is the sum of this again? It is equal to 5 only, right? Now probabilities, let us calculate. So probability of A1 is equal to, how to get probability of A1 is 1 divided by 5. And what is the probability of A2? 4 by 5. Next, probability of B1 is, or how do you get this probability of A2 is 1 minus 1 by 5 also you can get probability of A2. What is the probability of B1? 3 by 5. What is the probability of B2? 2 by 5. So these are the probabilities of the various respective strategies here. Now how to calculate the value of game for say player A? How to calculate? There are two ways of calculating that. See here, 5 into A1, when player B chooses B1 and player A chooses A1, 5, and what is the probability of that? 1 by 5. Okay, check row wise, 1 by 5. Now when player A select A2 and player B selects B1, the value is 3, and what is the probability of that? 4 by 5. So 5 by, this one is 5 plus 12, 17, 17 by 5. This is how we can calculate, or even other one also you can take, or 1 into, if player B selects B2, then what will be his values is 1 into 1 by 5 plus 4 into 4 by 5. So here also you are getting 17 by 5 only. So in any way if you calculate, the answer will be same, right? Now this is player A value of the game. And what about player B? Player B, how to take now? Horizontal you should take values. If player B selects B1, B2 strategies, and when player A selects A1, what is the value here? 5 and 1. So what is the probability of that? 5 into, this one is 5. 5 into, what is the probability of that? 3. 3 by 5. Plus other strategy B2, 1, value is 1. 1 into 2 by 5. So this is 15 plus 2, so 17 by 5. But no, don't forget, always it is outflow for other player or not? Yes, so that will be minus for other player. Or one more also you can choose, no, B. First one is over, now this one. 3 and 4 we can check. If player A selects A2, then player B selects B1 and B2, then you will get 3 and 4. So 3 probability of that 3 by 5. 4 probability of that is 2 by 5. So 9 plus 8, 17. Again minus value. So again if you add these two, ultimately sum of the game is equal to 0. That means you have achieved the optimum strategy here. So the answer is 17 by 5 for this. So this is how we should calculate the probabilities first using, what is the probability here? 1 by 5, 4 by 5 is probability. Here what is the probability? 3 by 5, 3 divided by sum of the total, 2 divided by 5. So when you are calculating the odds, the sum of the odds, whether you take column wise or row wise, the sum must be equal to same. Then you have arrived at the correct answer. Right, this is odds method. When you will apply odds method for mixed strategy to calculate the probabilities, we use this odds method. Now what this odds is a shortcut. Now this shortcut is arrived by applying differentiation. You might have heard about this word in mathematics, differentiation. So applying differentiation to a algebraic equation, they have arrived at this shortcut. I will show you that algebraic equation also. just for your understanding purpose. Don't try this in your exam, because in your material you have only this solution as a standard solution. The same question now, algebraically how I can solve this. I mean using equation how I can solve 5314. 5314. So I don't know which strategy in what proportion I should select. I don't know exactly, so I am guessing. So let us assume the probability of choosing A1 strategy is X. The probability of select A2 will be obviously 1 minus X, because the sum of the probability must be equal to what? 1. Okay. Similarly, for other player also, you can take in the same manner. So now he don't know which one he should select. I mean, what is the probability in which he should select A1, A2, provided B selects B1 and B2 he doesn't know. So that I am assuming as X, and X as the probability for A1 and 1 minus X is the probability of A2. So if I calculate now the values, the value of game for A, X into, how to calculate that? 5 into X, 5X plus 3 into 1 minus X. 3 into 1 minus X. This is the value. So what is the value you are getting for this? 5X plus 3 minus 3X. Okay. So 5X plus 3 minus 3X, that is the value. And what about the other one? If he assumes now this is probability of Y, or I have one more also. No, what is that? 1 into X. So all it, since we have done from A point of view, now B point of view also, if you do 5 into X plus 1 into 1 minus X. This is from player B point of view. So how much you are getting is 5X plus 1 minus X. So if you equate these two, 5X plus 3 minus 3X is equal to 5X plus 1 minus X. So 2X is equal to, I think somewhere we lost it here. So same players I need to compare now here. A1, A2 we are assuming it as X and 1 minus X. So if I want to select now 5 into X plus 3 into 1 minus X, right? What is the value of this? 5X plus 3 minus 3X. Now what if player B selects B2, then 1X plus 4 into 1 minus X. So X plus 4 minus 4X. Now he is indifferent between these two. You don't know which one he wants to select now, in what ratio. So you can equate these two equations. So 5X plus 3 minus 3X is equal to X plus 4 minus 4X. So this is 2X plus 3. This is 4 minus 3X. So this is 5X is equal to 1. X is equal to 1 by 5. So you got X is equal to 1 by 5. So if this is 1 by 5, 1 minus X is equal to how much? 1 minus 1 by 5 is equal to 4 by 5. So the probability is 4 by 5. So I applied algebraic method here, equation method here, to get the probabilities here. What I have done, once again I am repeating here. Instead of odds method here, what is the logic of odds method is this only. This equation only is what you have to do is, for this equation, if you apply this partial derivative, then you will ultimately get that odds only. That is the logic behind this formula. This odds logic is this only, this equation. So where if you assume the probability of selecting A1 strategy as X, the probability of selecting A2 strategy as 1 minus X, then what you need to do is get the expected values. How to get the expected value? If player B selects B1, then 5 into X, 3 into 1 minus X. If player B selects B2, you don't know whether he is going to select B1 or B2. You don't know whether player B is going to select B1 or B2. So you are indifferent between these two. So that is the reason these two you should compare. That is the reason I have compared these two, first one and second one. Then I have arrived at the probability 1 by 5 and 4 by 5. Similarly, from player B point of view also you should do it. I have done it from whose point of view? Player A point of view I have done. No? Similarly, from player B point of view also you should do it. We got the same probabilities whatever we got there. Even if you do from player B point of view, you will get the same probabilities. 3 by 5 and 2 by 5. Let us check now. Assume again same probability of, now from player B point of view I am taking that the probability of B1 is X, the probability of B2 is 1 minus X. Then let us take the values 5 into X plus 1 into 1 minus X. So 5X minus X plus 1. So this is 4X plus 1. Okay. And second, what if A1 is chosen by A, then this is the value. If A2 is chosen by player A, if A2 is selected, then 3X plus 4 into 1 minus X. So 3X minus 4X plus 4. What is the value of this? Minus X plus 4. Okay. Now he don't know whether he is going to select A1 or A2, player A. B doesn't know whether A will choose A1 or A2. So I will be indifferent between these two. So equate these two. 4x1 is equal to minus X plus 4. So 5X is equal to 5 into X, 1 into 1 minus X. 5X, 1 plus 1 minus X. 4X plus 1. Yes. Then 3 into X, 4 into 1 minus X. 3X plus 4 minus 4X. So minus X plus 4. Yes. Now equated these two. So if it comes this side 5. Yeah, this is 3. Yeah, same, correct only. X is equal to 3 by 5. So we got 3 by 5 here. Other one will get 2 by 5 here. So this is the logic behind this odds method. I hope you understood odds method. Yes. So these are the two things which you can expect in the exam. One is mixed strategy, the other one is pure strategy. So mixed strategy, you have to determine the probability of every strategy, and how to get the probabilities also I have shown you clearly, right? So in examination, better you apply this odds method. How to take the odds, already I have shown you your shortcut. Follow that. Then get the probabilities, then calculate the value of the game here. Right? So these are the two questions what you can expect in game theory. There is another matrix that is called as 2 into n type matrix and m into n type matrix. What is this 2 into n type matrix? Is two players, that means one player has two strategies, but other player has got n number of strategies. So for this case, and even m into 2, So in this, one player has two strategies, but this player, row player, has m strategies. So in these two cases, what we should do is graphical method we should apply. Apply graphical method to reduce size of matrix to 2 by 2. Apply graphical method to reduce the size of matrix to 2 by 2. Then we will apply odds method. Then apply odds method. Then apply odds method. So when you should apply this graphical method is whenever you get 2 into n type matrix or m into 2 type matrix, then you should use graphical method to reduce the size of the matrix to 2 by 2. Then apply odds method. Right. Don't forget, when you will apply odds method, that is mixed strategy, no. Only when value of the game is not equal to 0. Even if we ask you to apply graphical method, always check whether value of the game is equal to 0 or not. Okay. So this is in graphical method, how to reduce your size of the matrix using graphical method. That also we will complete. With that, entire chapter will get over. Before I move on to graphical method, that is 2 into n type or m into 2 type matrix, this odds method, mixed strategy, okay, one good problem, examination point of view, very good problem, that we will try to finish off. Especially this question number 5 and question number 6. Quickly I will explain and give the solution also. Then we will move on to graphical method. In the suburban area of large city, there are two stores, Lakshmi Bandar and Goswami stores, who handle sundry goods. The total number of customers is equally divided between the two due to the fact that the price, quality of goods, service, etc. of the two are at par. So now customers are only going to two of these traders only because of these things. That is the price what they are offering, the quality of the goods, and the service what they are giving. So that is the reason only customers are concentrated between these two stores only. Now if one store is losing any customer, the other person is going to get that customer. So if one store is unable to satisfy the customer, he will go to other store. That means only two stores there. Assuming that gain of customer for Lakshmi Bandar is a loss to Goswami stores, because this is the basic condition for applying game theory, and vice versa. Both the store plan to run annual sales during the festival period of the year. So they would like to come up with a festival strategy here to increase the sales. So sales are advertised through social media, cable TV local channel, and printed leaflets. So now since they would like to increase their sales, they want to come up with a right strategy for advertising their brand so that they can increase their sales. Now they have three options here, either through a printed leaflets or through cable TV or social media. Similarly, Goswami also, other player also, he has three options. According to my prediction, this is, my means here, according to Lakshmi Bandar, Goswami stores may use either printed leaflets or cable TV or social media. If Goswami stores uses printed leaflets and Lakshmi Bandar uses printed leaflets also, then what will be the profit? Based on the past experience, Lakshmi Bandar has prepared the following payoff matrix. So what they have done is they have prepared a payoff matrix for the gain or loss in percentage of customers. So this represents the percentage of customers, gain or loss, for its different strategies against various counter strategies of Goswami store. So this question is a classic one. Very important from your examination point of view. All the conditions are met here for game theory. So this is whose matrix? Clearly given that it is whose matrix is Lakshmi Bandar has prepared the following payoff matrix for the gain or loss in percentage of customers for its different strategies against various counter strategies of Goswami. These are the counter strategies. For these counter strategies, what is the percentage of gain or loss for the customers that he is able to prepare in terms of a matrix? Okay. If you see here, third case, if Goswami selects social media and Lakshmi Bandar uses printed leaflets, there is a loss to Lakshmi Bandar. How much is the loss to Lakshmi Bandar? Minus 80. Yes. Now the question is, determine the optimal strategies and the worth of the such strategies for the stores, and what is meant by the sell entry minus 80 in the above payoff matrix. Exactly is asking what is the meaning of this sell entry. Just now I told you, no. If Goswami store selects social media as his course of action, and even Lakshmi Bandar chooses printed leaflets as his medium of advertising, then Lakshmi Bandar is going to lose. There will be a loss to them minus 80. That is the interpretation of that sell entry. Now, for this, what we need to do? First of all, we will assume that it is a pure strategy. Okay. Let us check whether the value of the game is equal to 0 or not. That is what first we should do. So first, minimum value we will check. Row wise, minus 80 is the minimum value here. Minus 20 is lower than 0. Here 20. Out of this, maximum is 20. Next, column wise maximum loss 90, 40, 50. Out of this, minimum is 40. So therefore, value of the game is not equal to 0. Right? Now what you can do? Since value of the game is not equal to 0, you can use rule of dominance. Which one you can use? Rule of dominance to reduce the size of the matrix and then apply this. Or what you can do is, first of all, you can reduce the size of the matrix and then apply this pure strategy. So already I have done this. You can check. Lakshmi Bandar case, these are the values given. Now, first only what you can do is you can reduce the size of the matrix. So first compare here C1 with C3 column wise. C1 is greater than C3 here. C1 is clearly greater than C3. Therefore, you can eliminate C1. I am applying rule of dominance to reduce the size of the matrix. So this one C1 is eliminated. Then compare R2 with R3. R2 is lesser than R3. So eliminate R2. So now your matrix has been reduced to 2 by 2. 40 minus 80, 20, 50. Now you can apply minimax and maximini rule. You will get the same values whatever I got earlier. 20 and 40. So value of the game is not equal to 0. Therefore, it is a mixed strategy. Now you should apply odds method. Nothing but you should calculate the probabilities. So now you can apply the odds method. So how do you calculate odds for R1? Difference between 20 minus 50. Don't take minus. Ignore minus symbol. So 30. For R3, these two difference. 40 minus of 80. So this will be 120. So 30 plus 120, 150 is the sum of the odds. So what is the probability now? 30 by 150. Here 120 by 150. These are the probabilities. 30 by 150 is nothing but 1 by 5. This one is 4 by 5. Now when you are calculating the odds for C2, how to calculate that? Take difference of C3 column cell entries, minus 80 minus 50, minus 130, ignore minus symbol, so 130. When you take for C3, C2 difference, 40 minus 20, 20. So again 150 only total. So how do you get probabilities? 130 divided by 150? What? 20 divided by 150. Those are the probabilities. Now only from one player point of view we are doing. So once you get the probabilities now, how to get the value of game? Multiply now, 40 into 1 by 5, 20 into 4 by 5. You are getting 120 by 5, nothing but 24. So 24 is the value of game for whom? Lakshmi Bandar. We have done it from Lakshmi Bandar point of view here. Now if you do it from other person point of view, other store's point of view, you will get minus 24. Okay. So Lakshmi Bandar will play strategies, that is, these are the two strategies now, R1 and R3. After eliminating the rows, now we are only left with these two strategies, R1 and R3. R1 is printed leaflets, R3 is cable TV. In what ratio is going to play these two strategies? In 1 by 5 and 4 by 5 ratio. So Lakshmi Bandar will play strategies printed leaflet and cable TV, R1 and R3. With what probabilities? 1 by 5 and 4 by 5 for an expected payoff of how much? 24. This is the payoff he is going to get, no? And these are the probabilities. So if Lakshmi Bandar plays printed leaflets, cable TV, in this probability the value will be 24. And for Goswami it will be exactly minus 24, because his probability will be B1 130 by 150, that is 13 by 15 you can take, and C3 20 by 150. Right? What is the meaning of that cell entry also I have given here. So this is one important question which you can expect. Next important question is wage negotiation. I gave, even this one is 7th one. Question number 6, you have to construct the payoff matrix. It is very easy only. If you go through question number 6, answer is also given. First you should construct the payoff matrix according to the conditions given here. According to the conditions you should construct the payoff matrix. Then I think they asked only payoff matrix here in 6th question. And in 7th question I think they asked you to come up with a strategy also. So clearly they have given what is the payoff matrix along with the answer here. So you can refer to that question. Very important, this one. Then one more question is this one. Illustration number 4, important. Again you have to find out rule. You should apply the principle of dominance to find optimal strategy. So you can use this institute question. You can see here they applied average method also. Right, now coming to this graphical method. When to apply graphical method? Whenever you get this type, it is applied to solve 2 into n type matrix or m into 2 game problems. Right, in that case we will use this graphical method. Graphical method is also used to reduce the size of the matrix to 2 by 2. It is also used to reduce the size of the matrix to 2 by 2. Alright. First let us take 2 into n type. What are the steps involved for 2 into n type? Let us understand this. Our objective is to eliminate the rows and columns and reduce the size of the matrix using graphical method. So let us use this example. I will use this to explain graphical method. You can see here it is 2 into 3 matrix. This is. It is 2 into 3 matrix. right? So first what you can do is solve it like a pure strategy only. So if you see minimax value is 2, maximum is 6, therefore value of the game is not equal to 0. So then you know that it is odds method or mixed strategy only, no? Yes. So graphical, whenever you get 2 into n or m into 2, it is mixed strategy only. You should apply mixed strategy only. Only thing is to reduce the size of the matrix, we are using graphical method. So since value of the game is not equal to 0, saddle point does not exist. So this is a problem of mixed strategy. Since the matrix is not a 2 by 2 matrix, we check the possibility of applying dominance rules to reduce its size to 2 by 2 matrix. Students, go step by step. First, pure strategy you assume. Okay, not equal to 0. Then apply rule of dominance. Okay, rule of dominance also not working out. Then come to graphical. Right, even for 2 by n also, check whether rule of dominance can be applied or not. Now, if you apply rule of dominance here, in this case, I am checking a1 compared with a2, less than this, but this is more. Okay, so rule of dominance we cannot apply. Column wise, let's check. 3 is greater than 1, but 6 is less than 3. 12 is greater than 3, but 2 is less. So both row wise, column wise elimination is also not possible. So in this case, you can use graphical method now, because even rule of dominance is also not applicable. So what we should do in case of graphical method is, first there are two strategies now here, a1 and a2, or you can take them as x1 and x2 also, no problem. For these two strategies, draw two lines on graph. Okay, with a gap, take one as x as 0, other one as 1. Okay, like this. On a graph, take x1 is equal to 0 first, then x1 is equal to 1. Okay, this with your free hand you can draw here. Then what you need to do is, after drawing the graph, see here I am drawing now, this is one line representing two strategies here. What are the two strategies? A1 and A2. So this is x1 is equal to 0, this is x1 is equal to 1. On x-axis I am taking this. When it is 0, this line 1 is equal to 0. So I am maintaining some gap. Actually 1, that much gap will not be there in graph. So this represents A1 strategy, this one represents A2. So A1 you have 1, 3, 12, A2 you have 8, 6, 2. So what I will do is, I will maintain 2, 2 gap here. That is what they have done here. In this they have taken all, in fact. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1 they have taken, 1, 2, so 12 here. So now this is strategy. This line represents A1 player when B1 and we are taking this of A1 and A2, these two columns. That means when player B selects B1, B2, B3, what is the values here? A1, A2. So these two represents that only. What you need to do is plot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up to 12. Here also 1, 2, 3 up to 12 here. Then you should take row wise as pairs, 1, 8, 3, 6, 12, 2. Okay. Row wise take the pairs as coordinates. Then you should draw the first point out now. First one is 1, 8 no. 1, 8. So this is 1.1. Here it is 8. Okay. This represents your A1 strategy, this represents your A2 strategy, right? Now A1 1, A2 8, A1 is 1, A2 is 8, then draw a line, right? Similarly now second row coordinates 3 6, 3 here, 6 here, then join these two. Okay, then B3 12 2, 12 2, right? Again draw a line, right? Once you draw these points, take the lower envelope. There is an envelope formed here, you can see here, this is an envelope, this is called as envelope, highlighted one. This is called as lower envelope. Now we are doing it from whose point of view? This one. All these values we are taking from B's point of view. So what is the objective of B? B is a minimizing player, no? So that is the reason we are taking lower envelope. In lower envelope, highest one you should select now, right? Sorry, I used the word B here. We are doing it from player A point of view. Everything I have plotted from player A point of view here. This is A1, this we selected as A1, this is A2, no. So player A is a maximizing player. So first minimum gain out of that he has to maximize his minimum gains or not. That is the reason out of the lower envelope, highest point you should identify. So what is the highest point in this envelope is, this is the highest point. At this point, we should see which lines are intersecting. Which one is intersecting is 12 2 is intersecting, other one is 3 6, these two are intersecting. 12 2 line, other one is 3 2 6 lines are intersecting. So what we need to do is, those two only we should take it as our 2 by 2 matrix. You can see here 12 2, other one is 3 6. 3 6 is 1, other one is, yes. So in the same order you should take 3 6, other one is 12 2. So this is how you can reduce the size of the matrix. Okay, so what are the rules here? Let me show you the steps. Graphical method, 2 into n type. Steps under graphical method, that to which one? Mixed strategy, 2 into n. Remember 2 into n, if it is a mixed strategy, then odds method only we are going to apply. So first, as usual, you should play like a pure strategy. When value of the game is not equal to 0, then you can solve by graphical method to reduce the size of the matrix, 2 into n. Graphical method is used to reduce the matrix to 2 by 2. After that, odds method should be applied. After that, you should apply which method? Odds method to solve the problem. So what are the steps under this graphical method for 2 into n type is, first you should take two rows, row 1, row 2. Row 1 is x1 is equal to 1, row 2 is x1 is equal to 0. Okay, in my example also, first row, this is row 1, x1 is equal to 1, this is row 2, x1 is equal to 0. Okay, this represents row 1, this represents row 2. Okay, then what you should do is plot and join the points and take now coordinates as pairs. Column wise you should take, column wise like this you should take 1 8 3 6 12 2 like that. Same example only, no. So column wise you should take. So you can see here x1 is equal to 1 I have taken, x1 is equal to 0. So this is row 1, row 2. So row 1, if you say now check, row 1 is 1, row 2 is 8. So 1, 8. So in row 1, 1 is here, 8 is here. So join the line. Next column to row 1, 3, row 2, 6. So row 3 here, 6 here. Then join the line. So once you join the lines, now once you draw the lines, what do you need to do? You should identify the lower envelope. What you should identify? Lower envelope you should identify. In this graph now, once you draw all the lines, you can see there is an envelope here, envelope like shape here, this one. Now in this you should see what is the highest point, because we are doing it from whose point of view? Row wise player point of view. No? So the aim is to what? Maximize. No? The aim is to what? Maximize. So identify that. So this highest point now, whichever lines are intersecting, that only it is your 2 by 2 matrix, because our objective is to get maximum. No, so I am only selecting those strategies which will give me maximum values. That is the logic of this graphical method. So now we are selecting a 3, 6 and 12, 2, because those are only intersecting here. Then for this you apply the odds method to calculate the probabilities, get the expected value. So this is how you do it under graphical method for 2 into n type. For m into n type, if it is so m into 2 type, again we should use graphical method only, but m into 2 type is done from minimizing player point of view. Use graphical method to reduce it to 2 by 2. Graphical method in this case is done from minimizing player point of view. Earlier 2 into n case, whose point of view we have done? We have done this from maximizing player point of view. Right? Now m into 2 type is done from whose point of view? Minimizing player point of view. So these are the steps for m into 2. Here instead of row wise we should take column wise lines. Column 1 x1 is equal to 0, column 2 x1 is equal to 0. Column wise we should take, not row wise lines. Now lines represents column wise. So see this example now. This is the question. You can see that now it is m into 2 type only. There are two columns but 3 rows. 3 into 2 this is. Okay. So directly in this question they asked you to use graphical method since it is m into 2 type. So first what we need to do is draw the 2 columns here, 2 columns. So column 1 here, x1 is equal to 1, column 2 here. Here you have values 3, 2, minus values also you have. So what you can do is, I am taking 2, 2 gap here, 2, 4, 6, 8, here also 2, 4, 6, 8, then minus 2, minus 4 like that. Then now when you are taking coordinates, row wise you should take coordinates. 3 minus 4. Okay, step number 2 is plot the points and join. Pair row wise, 3 minus 4, 2, 5, minus 2. So 3 minus 4 means column 1, 3. Column 1, 3, here it is, in between these two. Minus 4 means here. So draw the line. Next, second coordinate is 2, 5. 2, 5 here in between this. Draw the line. Third one also you draw minus 2, 8 here. Okay, since he is a minimizing player, upper envelope you should take first, because first you should take maximum loss now. Then out of that minimizing player. So that is the reason upper envelope you should take. Out of the upper envelope, least point, this one. Lowest point you should select. Aim is to what? Minimize. And these two only you should consider for matrix purpose. So that is 2 minus 4, other one is 2 Now 3 minus 4, other one is 2, 5. 3 minus 4, 2, 5. These are the intersection points. That only you should consider as matrix. For this you apply the odds method, calculate the probabilities, then get the expected values. This is your graphical method. I hope you understood even graphical method also. So if you summarize, if you are doing a game theory problem, right, how many types you will find? Is pure strategy, other one is mixed strategy. When value of the game is equal to 0, it is a pure strategy. When value of the game is not equal to 0, it is a mixed strategy. For mixed strategy, we should find out the probabilities. To find out the probabilities, we should apply odds method. That is mixed strategy problem. And pure strategy, directly will get value of the game is equal to 0. In mixed strategy also, we get value of the game is equal to 0 once you take the probabilities. So these are the two types of problems. Okay. Now, whenever you are doing this game theory problem, apply stepwise. First, you do it like a pure strategy. Okay. Then apply rule of dominance. Or do one thing. If it is more than 2 rows, more than 2 columns, if you have, first reduce the size of the matrix by applying rule of dominance. Okay. Then apply pure strategy. If value of the game is not equal to 0, then mixed strategy. And under mixed strategy also, if you are unable to reduce the size of the matrix to 2 by 2, using what? Your rule of dominance, then you can use graphical method. So when you should apply graphical method is whenever you get 2 into n or m into 2. For these matrices also, what I am saying is, first you apply like a pure strategy. Rule of dominance you try. If that is not possible, then come to graphical method. Right? So this is all about game theory. That's it. This is the chapter. So especially graphical method, remember those points. Institute material is clearly covering all the steps. Even I have given you steps also while explaining. I told you each and every step. So kindly form the notes. Here already when I was explaining, I wrote some notes here. Even graphical method also, mixed strategy, how to calculate the probabilities also I have shown you. Now graphical method 2 into n, m into n, just make your notes. That will be sufficient for your game theory. Right guys, so most of the problems I have covered here in game theory, which will be sufficient for your exam also. So now only thing what is required is your practice is required. Right? So that's it from my end. And again I'll see you in my next revision video. I will cover business application of maxima and minima, another important topic. Thank you.